Let's actually watch that Moist Critical video real quick. We'll watch his video about how Schedule 1's getting fucking sued. They're trying to delete the game, I'm pretty sure.
I often get told how negative I am, but I think we can all agree there's been a little something special that's made this Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. And that little puppy is named Schedule 1. I haven't streamed a game this much since Elden Ring released, and I haven't made this many videos on a single game since Elden Ring released.
It's a very good content game, and it's also just a good solo game, and that's really rare to find in streaming. You can find a lot of good games. Like, I play 10, 20 different games a fucking, not a week. But if you look at my Twitch tracker, like, every month I play like 80 games. I play so many fucking new games, and there's a lot that are really good, but the ones that are good are usually like 2 hours long. Schedule 1 just has longevity to where your audience can interact. Even if they weren't there for previous streams, you could just tell them what happened, and it makes perfect sense because you're just drug dealing. It's not like an in-depth story game, and it's just the progression's fun. There's a lot of funny moments. You can make new different weed strains. It's just like a very unique game idea.
Clear, I like the game a lot. I got those anime hearts in my eyes anytime I hop on Schedule 1. I've become addicted to it, much like my clients in the game itself. Like, I feel like I'm making lifelong friends in there through this business. Like Austin. That beautiful bastard is such a fiend.
I used to like Mrs. Ming. Not anymore. I like George now.
I could walk up to that man and tell him to think about meth, and he would pay me $500 just for the imagination that I put in his head for him to smoke. It's just such a fun fucking game, is the point I'm getting at, and I like it a lot. And right now, it's in a little bit of legal hot water because a competitor in the drug dealing simulator space is launching a lawsuit against them for copyright infringement.
And the game is so bad. Drug Dealer Sim 1 was very popular, and I remember watching other influencers play it, and it was a game that had, you know, a lot of potential. It was basically Drug Dealer Sim early concept 5 years ago. It was a more realistic version. All you actually did was package and sell drugs. There was very little automation. There was a lot of, like, police chasing. It was boring. It was very boring. It was fun for, like, 8 hours, and then they came out with Drug Dealer Sim 2. And we played that on stream. And that's the reason why I'm, number one, I would get them being annoyed if they just made Drug Dealer Sim 1. Drug Dealer Sim 2 was such a big flop. Even if you ignore the fucking shitty negative reviews from the fact that they're doing a lawsuit, this game has overall mixed reviews by mass. Even if you remove these, the game is bad.
Isla Sombra.
Like, it looks like any other shitty sim game. Like, it looks like a Thief Sim 2 dupe. It looks like any of these other dupes, and it's the same GPU, or same graphics, same everything. Like, yeah, it's more realistic, but this just looks like a fucking off-brand GTA. And when I played it, all you do is run back and forth. The progression is so slow. It's not enjoyable. It's fucking boring. They did a bad job. They're upset that their second game flopped and that their first game is doing worse in 5 years' time than Schedule 1 is doing in a month. And so they're trying to fucking sue Schedule 1 because they're saying it's copyright infringement. It annoys me. And I understand, yes, they're very similar games, but how are you going to copyright? You can't copyright drug dealing. Yes, the mechanics are similar, but that's not because you invented the mechanic of putting weed in a jar. I have weed in a jar at my house. That's a thing that exists outside of your stupid ass game, okay? You didn't come up with making coke and cutting coke and fucking adding drugs and mixing drugs. That is a mechanic that exists in Drug Dealer Sim that if they added in Schedule 1, I would get the grounds there. But like Schedule 1 has mixing. Drug Dealer Sim had cutting. You would make cocaine and you would cut it with like flour and other shit. I don't know if that exists in Schedule 1 because I haven't unlocked cocaine yet, but it's just a bad game. It's something that has worse mechanics that still exist in real life. You can't just go, hey, Schedule 1, we already had a drug dealing sim game. Because at that point, any sim game that ever existed, if there was any dupe that was similar, you would be able to copyright them. But the whole point of sim games is that they're based on real life. It's not your own idea. You came up with the idea to copy real life.
Ubers that launched the lawsuit are Movie Games. That's the publisher, and the game that they're saying has been infringed upon is Drug Dealer Simulator, which also has a sequel. And you can see that in response to them launching this lawsuit against Schedule 1, they've been review bombed, and now the reviews are overwhelmingly negative. We'll get into the specifics of their claims in a moment, but I want to set the stage for anyone that...
I think they're hard-pressed, too, because no one's now going to buy their game. I think them trying to sue Schedule 1 is just a terrible play, because even if you get it off the market, nobody's going to play your fucking shitty dupe, because they're just going to be mad at you that you got rid of a game they liked. Just make a better game is my response, right? Like, I know it's not that easy, but if you have a competitor, you have to outcompete them. The thing I would say is they're annoyed that Schedule 1 dropped now because Drug Dealer Sim 1 still made mad money, even 5 years later, because it was just a unique game, right? Like, it was fun. I played it, right? But in comparison, it pales.
That might not be aware of
it's bad.
The phenomenon that is Schedule 1. It's a drug-dealing simulator game that was created by a single person. His name's Tyler. Tyler Video Game Studio. He developed Schedule 1 and launched it, and it blew up. The game is extremely fun. It maintains...
It has more players than, like, Apex Legends. Like, his single dev game has more concurrent players, like, to put it in perspective, more concurrent players than, like, many multiplayer, like, shooters made by, like, big dev companies, like
over
big publishing companies.
300
and Concord. Well, Concord doesn't exist anymore. If Concord was out on the market still, I think it would have kicked up at some point, okay? I think the hype wasn't there yet. I think it was building, okay? Apex Legends, give it a rest. Make Titanfall 3. Make Titanfall 3. Give it a rest. Get rid of Apex Legends. Nobody wants to play that bullshit. Titanfall 3. I'd play that. I'd play that every day.
And it's an extremely fun game. I have been a big fan of the drug-dealing simulator type games for a while. You might remember my Weed Shop arc. I've also played Drug Dealer Simulator, and I can say with full confidence, Schedule 1 is the best.
Yeah, Weed Shop's another... There's so many drug games out there. They didn't sue Weed Shop because Weed Shop flops every fucking game. Weed Shop... There's like 6 Weed Shop games. Now I gotta fucking look that up. There's so many... I forgot about Weed Shop. Yeah, Weed Shop 3 exists. And it does, like, okay in the community, but all you do is fucking grow weed. And it's like another meme game. Why didn't they sue Weed Shop? Because Weed Shop didn't do that well. Schedule 1. How many reviews does Schedule 1 have? If they release that on console, bro, that would hit. 83,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. And they have 400,000 active concurrent players. They probably have 1 million people that bought the game for $20. Dude, this guy's made like $20 million. We'll split, and then there's a bunch of other costs and fees. But he's a single dev, dude. This guy has made life-changing money from one game.
It has so much depth. It is so...
That's why they're mad.
Enjoyable. Just with, like, the goofiness that it allows you to do, as well as a world that really feels alive. And there's so much you do in there, from actually selling the drugs, hiring dealers, beating up the civilians, specifically Peter. Every 24-hour period, I make sure that Peter is either beaten within half an inch of his life, shot...
I never see Peter because I think Benji sells to him.
As many times as I can possibly find ammo for, or buried alive or thrown in the ocean. And, you know, just as many times...
That's that blackjack dealer lady. I don't like her.
But there's just a lot to do. Even outside of, like, dealing the drugs. Like, the movement is really fun. There's a lot of tech to even just movement with the skateboard. You can also launder money. You need to launder money, actually. It's just... There's so much here. You go from weed to meth to coke. Like, I'm now in the coke trade. I'm pushing that good cocaina now, and I'm really excited. I just think the game is the best drug-dealing simulator out there. Which is not like the most competitive market. You know, we're not talking about like a first-person shooter genre here. You're dealing drugs. There's only a handful of...
The recent trend of single developers making addicting games with friends or solo that's like $10 to $20 is crazy. They make like 30 million plus. Dude, it's becoming more lucrative. And so people are getting into it because they realize their ideas can flourish. There was a period in time where like the only games that did well were like big dev, like big, like EA level fucking orgs, right? Like coming out with fucking FIFAs and NBAs and fucking CODs. It was like during that like battle royale phase. I don't want to say like 2016 all the way to like 2020, but there was like a period in time where no one was playing games outside of big ass games that were promoted by fucking billion-dollar companies. It's in part because streaming is big now. It's easier to push your game. That you can get free promo. The amount, dude, there are so many companies that do this, and I don't play a lot of their games because, in all honesty, a lot of them are flops. You don't see a lot of single dev games because a lot of them are really bad. I get free codes for games non-stop. Like random ass $4 games that you've never heard of. They'll email my fucking manager and try and give me a code to the game because they want me to play it. Because if I understand I don't have as much push as some other streamers. If you get, to put it in perspective, if you get Queso to play your game and he likes it, you just got a $50,000 sponsor for free. You just got Queso to say your game is good for free. And now other people are going to play it. And then that's going to skyrocket it because other streamers are going to play it. It's going to give more promo. You're going to play it. You're going to share it with your friends. And that's how Schedule 1 got boosted. If Schedule 1 came out and streaming and YouTube didn't exist, it would still probably do well, but it would be way harder to promo. Same thing with games like Repo. Like, that's another game that just dropped. Like, party-esque games like fucking Lethal Company and shit like that. Those games had no space to get big until now. And so now they are. And I think a lot of other companies are folding because they're realizing that, like, hey, just because we have $1 billion and we can pay people a shitload of money to make a game doesn't mean it will do well.
And one of them, Drug Dealer Simulators, getting in a big stink about the success Schedule 1 is experiencing because its title never got to those levels. I think Drug Dealer Simulator was a fine game, but Schedule 1 is just a lot better and it ate its goddamn lunch. And they are not happy about it, which is why they've launched this lawsuit trying to make the claim that they've infringed on their copyrights. According to Movie Games, they noticed some similarities to Drug Dealer Simulator and launched an investigation.
Hold on, maybe the fact that you sell drugs in the game?
March 24th, 2025, the release date of Schedule 1, an internal analysis of the company's IP, including Drug Dealer Simulator and Drug Dealer Simulator 2, as well as Schedule...
And it's just such a better idea that Drug Dealer Simulator was realistic graphics. And that doesn't work for a game like this. Having the cartoonish, funky style to them and them looking like fucking random like Nickelodeon characters makes it way fucking more enjoyable. Like if Schedule 1 was like IRL, like they looked like real people, it would be boring.
One project was initiated by the company. This analysis immediately identified the use of several elements protected by copyright, including parts of the game's storyline, mechanics, and UI.
Dude, the storyline in Drug Dealer Sim is fucking terrible. You get called by a drug dealer and he's like, you gotta cut this shit up. All right, man. You can't get caught by the cops. You gotta cut your cocaine. The mechanics in Drug Dealer Sim are overly complicated and fucking monotonous, repetitive, and boring. Schedule 1, they're simple, but there's so many options that you can make it complex. You have the option of doing it. It's not required.
This leaves me so curious what copyrights they're referring to that have been infringed upon. Like, who's behind this company? Pablo Escobar? How could you possibly own the copyright to drug making?
That's what I'm saying!
There's just no fucking way. Like, they have a weed-making process in the real world that gets translated into the game in a...
Yeah, they didn't come up with this. This isn't like... Obviously, this game isn't trying to teach you how to grow drugs and do drugs, but that's how they do it, right? Like, they're going to jar... Like, if you buy weed from a guy off the street, he's going to give it to you in a fucking dime bag or a jar, depending on how much fucking weed you buy. If you try to grow a weed plant, there's going to be the grow lights. It's going to be on a rack. It's going to be in a pot with special fertilizer. It's harder to tend to than regular fucking tomato plants. It's going to... Like, all that transfers. They didn't come up with that.
You can't patent that. Like, Warner Bros. Has patented the Nemesis system, which I've talked about a lot. I've bemoaned that pretty frequently, but that's a very specific...
What's the Nemesis system? Nemesis system randomizes enemies for everyone and a lot of things that have cause and effect. And they remember you. Wow. So they copyrighted... I've never even seen that in video games. They've copyrighted mechanics to where an enemy will remember who you are and hold grudges against you. Is that why it's never in games? Because those devs copyrighted it? Wow, I wish they didn't copyright that. That would be such a good mechanic in other video games that exist. Somebody to remember who you are. That annoys me that they can do that. I understand it's like a good ass idea, but like, you know how much better video games would be if they would just fucking let people use that?
This is not. You can't somehow say...
Like, imagine... Like, that's why it's not in Schedule 1. Like, imagine if I shot that blackjack lady, and then the next day, she fucking goes, I'm not dealing you cards. And she has, like, a specific voice line because she doesn't like me now, because I punched her in the face. Like, that would be better.
We are the only company allowed to showcase coke being manufactured or being sold on the street. Like, it just doesn't work that way, I don't think. How could you possibly copyright that? It's just another game in the same genre, thus it's going to be utilizing similar methods because you're still making the same drugs in the genre. Like, very few companies ever go this far. Like, take, for example, Souls-like games, which have become the new hotness. Souls-like games are spreading like the fucking common cold.
And I hate it. I hate it. I'm sorry. I think Souls-like games are good, but they're fucking drilled into your head now. After Black Myth Wukong, we don't need any more. Just stop making fucking Souls games for 3 years, please. Because you're just ass. It's not that I'm ass, bro. Like, I understand I'm not that great at Souls games. They're all very, very similar. The fighting mechanics are almost identical in every Souls game I've played. The progression might be slightly different. The amount of free play you have in between, right, might be different. Like Black Myth Wukong is very consecutive boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight. But they become one and the same. If you played 10 Souls games in a row that weren't from the same company, I'm telling you, you'd be like, yeah, 7 of these are exactly the same. They're just reskins. They're literally reskins. They fight the same. The progression's the same. The bosses are the same. They're just named different and look different. They fight, and even some of their phases will be the same. What's happening with Souls games right now is what happened when Fortnite popped off. A million companies going, money, 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 and just making what happened in 2017, 2018, 2019, Battle Royale, Battle Royale, Battle Royale, Battle Royale, 1 out of 100 lobby, Warzone, Fortnite, Apex, fucking, you can name a whole list of them. They just kept coming out. Even random-ass ones that were kind of rip-offs of Battle Royale mixed with regular multiplayer battles, like fucking Knockout City or some shit like that. Like, any game, they just all over and over and over again. And now they're going to do it, and they're going to kill Souls games. You can say, oh, I love this era, but at some point, they're going to keep dropping Souls games, and then one's going to flop. That was meant to do really well, and a lot of money was put into it. And then another one's going to flop, and another one's going to flop. And then Souls games are going to be dead for 5 years, outside of the really good ones. It's what happened with Battle Royales. It's what's going to happen with Soul games.
Well, Liza P didn't invent the Souls-like genre. It borrowed a lot of elements from everything FromSoft had built up over the decades. And you didn't see FromSoft sue Liza P, and you don't see FromSoft suing Neo or First Berserker or any other really successful Souls-like games. Like, this is just a silly lawsuit, in my opinion. Now, unless they can point to things that Schedule 1 literally stole from Drug Simulator, like 1-to-1, then I just don't see how they could possibly have a fucking case. And they also mentioned that the storylines? What do you mean the story? The story in Schedule 1 is you were making weed in an RV, your Uncle Nelson got busted, so you ran away, now you're in a city making weed. Which, as you grow your business, you start to branch out beyond Weenie Hut Jr. weed, and you start manufacturing and selling meth and coke and all the good stuff, the bells and whistles. That's the whole story. Drug Dealer Simulator doesn't start that way. You're not in an RV and you don't have an Uncle Nelson. You start in an apartment and you get a call from Eddie. Like, there's not a real story to Schedule 1. The only thing these two games have in common narratively is they both use a phone to feed the player tutorials. In Schedule 1, you get Uncle Nelson on the payphone. In Drug Dealer Sim, you get Eddie on your phone. But you can't possibly copyright the phone mechanic here because so many games do that outside of just these two. Are you going to go after Rockstar Games next for their usage of phones in GTA? Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
They're going to sue him for the contacting of Lester.
Like, there's not anything narratively that I can find that's even similar between these two games, other than you start making drugs and selling them on the street. Now, if we want to get into some really nitpicky specifics that I feel like is probably going to be mentioned...
Oh my god, the save game tab thing on the side.
In this lawsuit, there are things in Drug Dealer Simulator that are similar in Schedule 1, such as the way you save the game. So in Drug Dealer Sim, you save the game...
Yeah, but that would be such minute shit that the dev of Schedule 1 could just change the texture of the save feature on the side or remove it and make you tab save and then just pay out, like, a very small fee. Like, you're not going to be able to, like, take down a game for the fucking save feature. Security Breach has that! Oh my god! They didn't even come out with it! I'm gonna, yeah, you're right. Oh my god, Security Breach literally has the fucking save feature. They didn't even come up with that. And random checkpoints, you have little screens that look exactly like that. And Security Breach came out in, what, like 2016?
Here, like you'll see in Markiplier's Let's Play. In Schedule 1, you save in a similar way in the doorways. So those two things are similar, but there's no way you fucking copyright that.
Wait, Security Breach came out in 2022? No. Yo, FNAF might be getting sued. Oh my god, it came out in 2021?
I have seen that exact same method of saving games in other games on Steam that I've played during, like, bad game nights.
2016, are you insane? Are you insane? You don't know your FNAF lore?
To drug...
You're kidding me, right? I think I just had a stroke. 2016? I had a Freddy Fazbear birthday party.
I can't imagine that is copyrighted. Another example I think they're going to try is the body searching. So on the left, you'll see the Drug Dealer Sim body searching, and on the right, Schedule 1. I guess it's similar because they both have...
It's similar, but it's not grounds enough to say that they're exactly the same, because they're not full rips of each other. They're way different.
Have a progress bar? But what, did you patent progress bars in drug dealing genre? Like, I think it's just complete fucking lunacy here. Like, the body search existing in both games, that's not Schedule 1 stealing from you. That's, once again, just a whole drug dealing simulator idea in the genre, where body searches would happen with the fuzz, with the police coming through and patrolling. That's not something that is specific that was stolen from Drug Dealer Simulator, even though they both have a progress bar.
They dropped the lawsuit? Nobody, they already dropped it.
You know what I mean? I think it's just silly. I think they are just so...
Did they really? It doesn't say it was dropped. Drug Dealer Sim publisher has no ill will towards Schedule 1 amidst copyright dispute.
Hurt that Schedule 1 has blown up like this when their game didn't. That now they're lashing out like, they shouldn't be able to make this much money when we didn't. We deserve a piece of that as pioneers in the drug dealing simulator genre. Which I think is just ridiculous. Again, this is just another game.
I don't think you should have the rights to copyright any sim game, because sim games are off of real life. Like, you could maybe come up with a very individual game mechanic and a very specific set of, you know, variables, but what sim games have we played where they came up with, like, unique things? TCG Card Sim, it's just Pokemon trading games. Gas Station Simulator, you work at a gas station. Power Washing Sim, you power wash shit. Like, it's not unique mechanics. That's why no one ever tries to fucking... That's why there's so many sim games that are literally just copies of each other, because you don't own the rights to coming up with that mechanic.
In that genre that, of course, some of the mechanics are going to be similar because it's the same genre. You're still making drugs. There's only so many mechanics you can possibly have to showcase that process. And for what it's worth, it's not one-to-one in Schedule 1 and Drug Dealer Simulator. They're pretty different experiences, even in that regard. To me, this feels like if Overwatch came out and said, we're suing Marvel Rivals for copyright infringement. We're the only game in the hero genre allowed to be successful. Get the fuck out of here. Time to bully them and...
If Overwatch tried to sue Marvel Rivals, that would be a fucking shithole for them. That would be so bad. That would be so bad.
It's copyright infringement. It's too similar to Overwatch. And it's like, okay, the games do play similar. They're in the same genre. Yes, they're in the same genre, but they're very, very different games. It's the same with Schedule 1 and Drug Dealer Simulator. I guess we'll see what the investigation turns up, I suppose. But from having experienced both of these games, Schedule 1 feels nothing like Drug Dealer Simulator, and I cannot imagine anything was actually stolen from them in the making of Schedule 1. Like, this just feels like such a fucking delusional lawsuit out of desperation. And it's pathetic. It makes Drug Dealer Sim developers and the publisher look like such bitches for this. Just really salty that Schedule 1 is as popular as it is. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.
Wow, that was a hard cut. Oh my god, Gorbo's swim hole.
Tired of swimming during boring regular daylight hours? Frustrated that your transformation process slows down after sunset?
Oh, we're gonna watch that another day. I saw that shit on some random ass TikTok, and I was like, I need to add this. It's some creepy ass AI series called Gorbo's Swim Hole, and it's like a bunch of fake promos for like this fucking creepy, it's like alternate dimensional cable. All right, hold up. I'll go pee, grab that shit real quick to show y'all, and then we're gonna fucking hop into the other game.